order. Call the roll.
Sure. Golding.
Here.
Hoffman. Here. Kaiser.
Here.
Ehrman.
Here.
Radovich.
Here.
Mr. Supervisor, you have quorum.
Okay, thank you. Welcome everybody on this snowy day. I don't think this is on. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, welcome. Today's been a day of hell. Been up all night, my wife's over there in the ER until I get a call. I'll be leaving, but try to do the best we can and go as fast as we can. With that, is there any public comment? Anybody?
Do you want me to?
I'll address your comment. Do you have anything else other than that email? Okay. Yes.
I have but one comment about the agenda.
Okay.
It would be really helpful if we had a little more detail, as like the metro,
Metro.
like where, you know,
I'll explain it.
yeah.
Okay, first item is the 26-27 budget, kind of continuation of last week. We're gonna get into more the wage section. Today, kind of talk in general, and I wanna address Karen's email. I think we got another email from somebody else. Jackie, make sure, did you get everything that
I
you
did,
needed?
thank you.
Okay. I'll just go down through your questions before we get started. So, the job descriptions that are on, I'm confused about positions, especially the descriptions in the draft do not match with the township employees list on the website. I think, did we get that corrected, or did you look at that, or?
Yeah, so it's just an obscure link that was on the website that still showed probably prior to 2023 employees. So I removed that and then updated what was on there to make sure it was correct.
Is that kind of what you were talking about, is there was old employees on there, or, okay, thank you. Was reading past minutes from last year's budget discussion, was curious how and where 20% retirement benefit was determined and what year that was put in place. I have been discussed previous to January 2025, I'm not locating it. Also, it only seems applicable to the supervisor, clerk, treasurer, and all elected positions. It is for all elected positions. That's been in effect for 60-some years. I think it was in the late 1960s when that went into effect. I appreciate example how this retirement benefits impact salaries. For clarification, I would use the supervisor's salary listed at $110,500 with the supervisor's pension plan expense listed at $22,100. Also, the expense is quite a jump from the previous year. So, before 2025, the supervisor, it was always based upon the supervisor's wage only, not the assessors. And that's the way it's been since I've been here until this past year. When we had the review by Karen Dodge.
Cindy Dodge.
Or Cindy Dodge.
No relation.
Karen Dodge, sorry. Yeah,
Mistake.
sorry, Cindy Dodge. She said it's by law that the supervisor, if he's certified as the assessor, that goes with that. You know, I didn't take a raise last year because of that. For the first 30 years of my career, I didn't get it, but that's why I went from 5,000 to 20,000. I am gonna, so that's why that happened. How does the 20% retirement benefit compare to the pension plan expenses for other positions? Currently, the other employees get 6%, and then they can do a 3% match, or more, a minimum.
They have to do the minimum of
They
3
got
to
to
get
the
the
minimum
6.
to get the 6, and they can do more if they wish. That's been in place probably for 5 years. Before that, it was 2%, then that was 3%. Probably for the first The public would like to see job descriptions and employee handbook. How can you obtain that information? Just by asking the clerk. And then, the website is inadequate, and I'm not gonna read everything on here. We know that the website's inadequate. We're trying to address that when we get a new, if we get a new IT, carrier. Garrett, I don't know, can you help me out here on the website? Probably know more about it than I do. I'm not a website guy.
So we've been talking about the website for a while, and obviously it's on the front of everybody's mind, because it is difficult to find things, and there's no like one person in this office that's the website administrator. Common Angle initially built it, I don't know how long ago, probably 2016, I think is when you guys switched to Common Angle.
It's been.
So they probably built it then, and then because there was no like IT person in-house, a lot of things didn't get updated. So I've been picking up a lot of that slack and trying to do things as I can, just kind of more on my free time, but we're looking at options. I've been getting quotes. I've been talking to the city of Petoskey, I've been talking to Resort, I've been talking to some other places. I've been talking to different people that design websites, government websites. So I've been getting the resources, but it doesn't make sense to buy this service to have somebody revamp our website until we know who our IT provider is gonna be. Because depending on who we go with IT, they may include website reconstruction or maintenance in their bid. So that's gonna be coming. I mean, hopefully we'll be putting out an RFP next month and then making a decision in March to start in April. That's when our current, whether we stay with Common Angle or go with somebody else. But theoretically, come April, we'll know who our IT provider is, and then from there, we can make a more informed decision on the best path forward for the website. But I've been working on it for about a year, talking to different people, talking to different governments, talking to different contractors that build these websites. Probably be after we hire somebody, still 6 months or so before everything's put together, but that's where it's at. We'd hear you. I'm doing everything I can, but we gotta get the IT provider nailed down first.
Can I make one more comment with records?
Oh.
If you do have a FOIA request or a records request, we're happy to get you that information. Just get it to me in writing via email, or you can drop something off in writing. And then I'll get that over. Lizzie, our FOIA coordinator, is off on maternity leave, but we're still filling records requests even while she's gone. We just have to have something in writing for her FOIA records. So, but happy to get that over to you.
So, I was just gonna talk a little bit in general about the township, since Bear Creek Township, and I'm winging it here because I was gonna try to write stuff down today, and my day's been upside down, so. Bear Creek Township, many of you guys know, many of you don't know, is a township and a half. We don't have 36 sections like a normal township, we have 48. So, that's why we have all these requests, all these zoning things, we're not the island, but we're representing more than a township. Basically, we're the same size as the city of Petoskey. They have a few more parcels. They have a little higher SEV, mainly because of Bay Harbor. They have Bay Harbor, traditional city, we'd be larger than them with both parcels and SEV. But it's, we have, commercial, we have agriculture, we have industrial, we have residential, we have multifamily, we have Bayview. And just for assessing, and I'm gonna get into that a little bit, Bayview is like a township in itself, or a small village in itself. Just for instance, it's the same size, maybe a little bigger. It's $53 million, almost 500 parcels. That'd be the size of a Bliss Township or a Center Township, or maybe Cup Lake. I'm not sure what they all were. I was gonna try to get better information on that, but they're about the same size. And that's just an animal inside the larger, like for us for assessing. And we have very diverse properties, and I'm getting more into my assessor and supervisor, because it seems like my wage is being looked at more closely than it has been in the past, and that's fine. as supervisor, I've always argued, I just tried to get the employees and other board members up to market. In mine, I always kept kind of below market. Done that for 30-some years, continuing to do that this year. Argued harder for other people than I did for myself, because I always wanted to be able to explain to the public about my wage. I didn't want anybody to say I'm doing this for me. So for supervisor, I get $10,000 a year for my statutory duties. I get $16,500 as supervisor for my extra duties. And I can list them all out if you want, but that's how it's broken down. So it's $26,500, which is probably the third or fourth from the top of Emmett County supervisors. And for assessing, I get $84,000 a year. And again, I think it breaks down to $16 a parcel, maybe a little more, $16.40 if you got right down to it. There's 3 levels of assessors in the state of Michigan. There's an MCAO, which is just a Michigan certified assessor. Typically they get about $15, $16 a parcel. All the units in Emmett County are MCAO required, except for the city of Petoskey and Bear Creek. We're MAAO, which is a Michigan Advanced Assessor, which I am. Garrett will be soon here, maybe by May, April, February. All right. You're going to school more than I thought. But he's going to be certified here real soon as a level 3, right? Currently he's an MCAO. Typically those assessors get $20 to $25 a parcel. They don't have office hours, plus they get per parcel inspection, they get land division fee. If you go to the tribunal, they get an hourly fee. They have all these extras on top. City of Petoskey operates that way under contract assessor. You look on their website, I think it's around $170,000 for their assessor. They don't have anybody there. Assessors over in Alpena, and everything is done by the phone. We have full-time office hours here. And then there's the MMAO, which is Michigan Masters Assessor, which nobody in Emmett County requires that. That's for a higher level, the larger cities and stuff. So I just wanted to make that a mention that I feel I'm below market in assessing and as supervisor. It's been a good job, learned a lot. I like it a lot. Hopefully to continue, but I don't know, getting older and my wife's getting sicker, I guess, so I don't know what will happen in the future, but I wanted to say that for me. So that's where I'm at. I'd like to talk now, get into the budget and what we're gonna do about wages. Wages is always tough to talk about when you're talking about your own wage in a public body. Nobody wants probably discuss in private. You don't have to do that. In public we do, so here we are. Did some research. CPI is 2.7% this year, just under 3%. Emmett County, they did 3% for some departments, 4% for others. Harbor Springs Sewer Authority, which we're a member of, they did 5%. Harbor Springs Airport, they did 5%. I believe the city did 5%. City of Harbor did 5%. I'm not sure the city of Petoskey. Did you ever?
3.
3
For their non-union.
3 for the non-union. So it's in that 3 to 5% range in this area. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and just so the board can be thinking about, is for the employees and for the people that would need it. Not for myself. I don't need it. All my life, I always paid for my wife to have, paid it out of my pocket for insurance. Currently, the township offers insurance for the employee only, and not the spouse or the family. I'd like for us to consider that. I don't know, Garrett, you got a chart that we could put up. Looked at different townships of our size that they do offer more of a full-time benefit. If I was organized, I'd have my sheet to read it. So for instance, Blair Township, they do full coverage for the employee and the family. benefits, if the employee chooses, they can get coverage. Talking like about dental or vision. Sorry about that, I don't have to get that one. East Bay, again, full coverage for the family. Green Lake Township, they do 75, full for the employees, 75% for the family, and then they do 75% for dental or vision, the other families. Peninsula Township, they do, the township pays 85% for the employee and for the family, so you pay 15. Bear Creek Township, we do just for the employee, nothing for the family. I'd like us to consider, either paying 50% or 75% of the employees that would need it. I think that will bring longevity to our employees, and I think it's fair for these type of jobs that we offer that, like some of our neighboring townships do. The city, Petoskey does, the city of Harbor does, Harbor Springs Sewer Authority does, Harbor Springs Airport does, and they offer full. But I do think the employee, the family, they should be responsible for something. So, if all the employees did it, I don't know, I want to talk to the board first before I went to each employee, because I don't know if they all need it, because I know some of the employees, their wives work and have jobs and they get coverage, so they would get the coverage from a different place, but some of them don't. 50% would be an additional $1,889 a month. If we get 75%, it'd be $2,800, a little over $2,800 a month. I believe there's room in the budget for that if the board wants to move forward to it, but I want to throw that out there as we're talking. I got a lot of talking. I'd like to hear from somebody else.
But I would just piggyback, I guess, or make another clarification when you were talking about assessing, that there's very few supervisor assessors anymore as it is. And so when you look at wages in comparison of other townships, almost all of those are separated because they have two people or they contract out for assessing. So not only are you under market rate, looking at them separately, but also as a whole, you know, if the township were to have to contract out for an assessor, we would be paying significantly more than what we're paying you for assessing currently. So, and anybody who knows Denny, I'm happy to stick up for him any day of the week because he doesn't turn it off. You know, you can see him in the grocery store and ask him questions, and he's supervisor 24/7 because he somehow finds an extra hour in the day to give to the township. So I certainly would stick up for you there.
I don't want to hear about me, I want to hear about.
I know, but I think it's
said.
important to clarify, like, you're
So
kind of part of the
I will
supervisor
say
assessors, there's not
the
very many left.
supervisor is the chief assessing officer, if properly certified, that's by statute. And even if you contract it out, the supervisor still, it's the only time the clerk doesn't have to do the minutes, the supervisor takes the minutes of the board review because he is the chief assessing officer, so I should have said that earlier, but anyway. Anybody else got any comments before we start going down?
Can I make one more?
Oh.
My one last comment would just be that we do run a very lean staff. You know, the reason we're stretched so thin, part of the reason we went and got the strategic plan in the first place is because of how stretched thin all our employees are, because we operate with, I don't know, what do we have, 11, 12, whatever our staff count is significantly lower than a township of our size for other townships. And so, you know, we're paying market rate for people, but they're quality people who are bearing the load of potentially more than what, you know, if they were to have to be replaced, you'd take 1.5 or 2 people to replace one of our really competent staff. So I'm very confident in our staff that they do a really great job, but I also know they take on a lot and should be compensated for that.
I'll just say, there is a lot to the treasurer's and clerk and the supervisor's job, there really is now. It's not like when, you know, in the 80s and stuff, when there wasn't near the regulations and the work and everything. A lot of what we do is all driven by what the law is, what the state wants. There's so much to it. It's just so complicated, and it really is really something, especially if you compare to, you know, what we did last year. We did the master plan for the Parks and Rec, we did the master plan for the regular master plan. We worked on the fire hall, we worked on Spring Lake, we did work on the other, Jones Landing. I mean, we did a lot of stuff last year. Everybody really worked hard, and I'm really proud of everyone, not only the board, but our staff, the building department. Everybody did a really good job last year. I really do think so.
What I was gonna add to those job comparisons and so forth for the taxpayers, members here, our audience, is over the years we've done across the board the comparisons. We've picked townships similar size, area, SEVs, if I'm saying that correctly. So we're trying to compare apples to apples, so we didn't pull some number from a downstate big charter township. We've done mostly Grand Traverse County, in that vicinity, the northern Emmett County region. So that's where we've come to help balance wages, balance salaries, benefits, and try to keep our staff happy here and qualified and, doing many hats, as they said. So that's how a lot of this, there's five, there's probably another 5 or 6 on that big sheet, which I forgot to grab, that we use for comparisons. And the SUV, is that right? That
Kind of by
so we're matching kind of
SAV,
population.
registration, population.
Yeah,
we try to get
so we're not just pulling numbers, we're due diligence. That's what I had to say to add
Similarly
on.
sized townships,
Similar size, yep,
also in northern Michigan.
yep, so people know that. To add on to that. Okay, that's what I had to say.
What do you want to pick a number for what you're thinking about across the board?
I'm
3%,
happy with
4%?
I'm happy with 3%. I'm happy.
I'll be good at 3.
That's fine.
What about the benefits? You wanna dive more into that, or
Is that for health only?
health only? Yeah, I don't,
So they would pay, employees would pay for dental or vision for their
If they
families
wanted-
if they needed it.
if they needed it,
and
they
then that
would
would
pay
be
100%. That would be the health. The health is the main one.
I'm okay with you researching more. I'm just wondering, it'd be interesting to see how, when you go from a single individual or 2 people, you start adding on like 4, isn't there a up cost in that?
Well, that's the numbers I give you. So I didn't get this stuff out yesterday. I was trying to get it through our
I know,
insurance agent and stuff. I'm trying to get this over. So, but that is the number for, and again, that's if everybody did it. I don't know if everybody will or not. I haven't talked to each individual yet. But I know there's interest for that.
And it would be, there's no, the way our insurance, but I'm pretty sure just the way health insurance is in general, is it's based on age and gender. So there's no break if you add, there's no like individual and family cost. It's just pay per person, you give them your birthday, and then they tell you what the insurance cost is, which is where those,
It's the only industry that I know, anybody that's in business knows is insurance is age discriminatory, I guess, because if you're 20 years old, everybody for the same policy, if you're 20 years old, you'll pay something. If you're 40 years old, you'll pay a different amount. If you're 60 years old, you'll pay, and the older you are, the more you pay, but it's just, I don't know, you can't do that in any other, based on anything else, but the insurance industry seems to get away with that.
well, and to your point, where it gets goofy is for some of our employees, paying for their insurance could be more than what it would cost another employee for them and their spouse, just because of the way the ages are.
Well, like you said, we just got some of this information yesterday, so just rough numbers what I put together last night and this morning. So on that, like you said, that 50%, we're 18,889. For easy numbers, say it's $2,000 a month, so that's $24,000 a year into our budget, which it can handle that. Or if the 75% is 28,34, so $3,000, so that's 36. So I think we have some room at 24 to 36, which direction, so I'm for doing it, but we just have to talk
Yeah.
which direction.
Well, again, I know this is kind of.
Bark, bang for our buck for our employees, so. I'm okay with.
Again, this would be,
sending that out.
if everybody that was eligible to receive it would take it.
Some of
That's
them,
right.
some
That's
of them
right.
may not want it.
Yeah, some might not, so those are kind of max, that's above max too, I mean, 24 and 36,000.
Then the other thing too, just, I mean, it wouldn't apply to this year, but as people fall off the insurance, like we have some employees who are gonna get closer to no longer, you know, needing the insurance because they'll pass 65, so our total insurance cost is going to change in the next couple years. But I think to, like, to Denny's point, from a attracting new employees standpoint, or, you know, having a benefit package, like, as we're bringing in new people, that's a benefit people would want.
From what I'm leaning towards the 75% myself, that's just my.
Kinda, you got a feeling on it, so there's no which way to go. We're not gonna vote right now,
Right.
but if you were to think about it, or what's your thoughts?
I'm okay with the 75.
Joe, what do you got?
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm in support of
But
that.
I'll get more information for you guys. So 3% on, wages?
Yeah.
Across the board?
Yep, everybody.
So let's move on, get into the building department.
I will, if you guys are okay
What
with that, I will, if the 3% is okay with everybody, I'll go through before the next budget meeting and fill in the line items with the 3% adjustment, and I'll get you a clean copy of the budget, if you guys are
And that
okay
will
with that.
be fire department, everybody, correct?
Well, fire department, fire board would have to decide
Fire
on their
board.
wages,
Yeah,
but for
but
our internal, you know, I can go in and fill in the 3% and the taxes and things like that in here. And I'll get you a clean copy.
For our employees.
Yeah.
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 So I don't know where it's going with that.
Building is
We're on to page 14. Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
13
Could I-
revenues.
Just clarification, are you saying that you're gonna give a 3% raise, and if you give medical, is that in lieu of the 3% raise, or would that be in addition to?
Addition.
Addition to, okay.
Okay, so we're on page 14. Did you get there yet? So Brian, are you here? Yeah, Brian's here.
13 is the revenue for the building.
Oh, 13, so actually it starts at 13. Normally I have these on the page.
So there really is only one. that's-
Okay, so building department revenue, last year, so we budgeted 400, right now we're at about 315. We have basically 2 full months to go, 2.5, I don't know what you got laying in there for on your desk, if there's many or not, or.
Not a whole bunch, it's really slowed down right now.
Yeah. Probably be close to the 400, and I would think 400 probably for next year, Ryan, or. So we come off, you know, not 25, but 23, 24, 22, 23, and 24, were basically banner years, especially 24.
So it will stabilize a little more now, you
Yeah.
think? Yeah.
So for inspectors' wages, like to just hold off on that for a moment here, eventually, here in a minute, we'll be talking about the building inspector, like to review the jobs of both Brian and, Stan. It's kind of a employee review, if they wish, they can ask to go into closed session, I don't know if they go in or not, but we'll talk about that too, I'd like to come back to that after, but I think the rest we can do.
So if we jump, the first non-wage related is this 727, the liability insurance.
So we'll jump down, probably about 10 or 12 down, you'll see where it ends in 727.00, workman accounts liability, looks like the 4,500 will work for that. Supplies, we budgeted 11.7.
Right in that 10 usually is
Right,
okay.
yeah, I just do 10 there. inspection, the professional contract,
It's Ken, and then Manor Cross Stairs, and the Rod Taylor's fee, but primarily that's Ken. Yeah, Munivate, he was in there, yeah. That's why, part of why we went from 13 to 20 is to.
Brian, you got any feeling on that?
No, until some other decisions are made, I'd like to keep that there,
Keep the 20?
just for now.
Okay.
We can make a change to that at a later date.
Computers, are you guys all up to date on your
Well, this
computers?
would be like common angles, we should, until
Oh.
we get that RFP, we should leave that one
Okay,
blank.
alright.
Because we split the cost of common angle
Yeah.
between the building and the township.
Cleaning, that should stay the same, 2,800. Communications, that should,
That's the, we split the internet bill and then the phones, and then their cell phones.
so
So we're a little.
we're heavy on that.
We're
I mean,
heavy on that. We
budgeted
can probably back
65,
off to 5.
probably go down to 5 on that. Mileage,
So that's their gas money for their vehicles.
so we're at 3,700 right now, we budgeted 6, but.
You probably back off to 5.
A little bit 5, I would say.
I think at the time, we didn't know with adding a building department vehicle, how much more was that gonna add, you know? And then
Vehicle maintenance, 2,500, that seems to work.
So dues
Dues,
is fine.
2,000, that seems to work. Utilities, the 5,500 seems good.
Repairs and
repairs and
maintenance is, we
maintenance.
split the upkeep of this building between the two. So if we have the generator breaks or something,
So we're gonna be tight on that, you might go over on that.
we're gonna be
I
tight
just
on that
wanted
this
to
year.
keep it the same, I mean,
13.5.
Yeah, I would keep it the same, but I am gonna kinda watch that account over the next 2 months, because we do split that between the township and the building department, and we do have a couple things with the generator.
So I have a question. Let's say we have a conference room and we give the building department more room, then is that gonna change
yeah,
the,
change the percentage.
It'll change the
the
We go by the
percentage?
square footage.
Yeah,
So I would leave the 13.5 for now, but to Joe's point, if we rearrange in here, we'll have to watch the
we'll just have to
percentage.
see what happens.
Small equipment, I guess that would be for computers and stuff.
Computers, tablets, which we just bought the tablets, so we're okay on that. So I would back that down to,
Are your computers, are you guys all good, Brian?
I think they're okay, I'm gonna pull that up to make sure everybody's who's in
So what do you,
replacement. I would go like 5 or 75,
probably
From the 15,
yeah,
probably 75.
75,
yeah.
sounds good.
And then that account, well, that really wouldn't be for this year, but as we grow the building department, you know, that would go there.
Travel,
They don't typically stay overnight when they go places, so
we should probably put something in there, just get it
I would just keep the 1,000 or put 500, you guys don't usually stay,
500 is good. Conferences,
that's all their classes.
okay, so it's the 1,000, looks like it works.
Yeah.
Building department improvements,
So that would be, to Joe's point, if we built this space out, that's where that would go. Which is, we haven't really talked about it yet, but
Probably not gonna happen this year.
it's not gonna happen in
No.
26, it would be 27 or 28.
So,
Yeah.
so I would just put 5 or something in there in the case they need to
We
fix
spent
anything in their office.
4,600, I'm sure, well, that was part of the windows,
Yeah,
yeah, let's just put 5. Equipment capital,
that was the vehicle, the
that's the
new
vehicle,
equinox.
so that's, Brian, you got a couple ideas.
Yeah, I got a number in there of 57, 23.7 for 237, to replace, for replacement for the Tahoe.
So his vehicle's got 100,000 miles on it, we're starting to put money into it, we'd like to get that replaced.
Is there a trade-in, like,
Yeah, I didn't involve any of the trade-in, because I don't know what it's worth yet, or what we can get out of it, whether it goes to a different department or a private individual. So we'll have to see, so some of that will
would say easily take 10 off your number.
Okay,
Up to 57.
up to 57.
Yeah.
So we put 37, 38.
Yeah, so the other thing,
We can do something with Wayne.
well, so Wayne got in a wreck last week, this is his third wreck with his personal vehicle.
And none of them have been his fault.
None of them's been his fault,
Terrible.
they're out on the road more and more. Last Friday was a day like today, as I went Newell Road, it was a whiteout, he stopped and he couldn't see, and, you know, it was a multi-car accident. He kept running into each other, his car got totaled out, but it would be a low mileage vehicle. I think maybe look at leasing something, I don't think it's worth buying for that, but if he would get in a wreck, or, you know, we have using their own car and somebody got seriously hurt, it could become,
The liability.
it's a liability, just as we got the guys out there more and more for years and years. You know, we all drove our own vehicles, not hard on wood, I've been lucky. So that would be, I've had this in the back of my mind before, and then this accident last week, put it higher up on my list.
Let's check in on the pricing of it.
Yeah, but I think a lease on a vehicle like that, because you'd be less than 10,000 a year, 10,000 miles a year.
I just estimated $350 a month, which
Yeah,
would
it'd
be
probably
about
be,
$4,200 a year.
it'd be somewhere in that 300 to 350 a month.
Yeah,
Plus years.
yeah.
He drives more, plus he needs a bigger vehicle, because we use him for the fire, and he's got all his equipment in there, slide out and all that, so.
If you outfit it again, is it gonna be set up currently like yours where it's fire on the outside and inside, or is it gonna be more like the township's one?
Oh, it'd be set up like it is. Dale would take care of the fire stuff for us, the paint scheme, the lights, the sirens. It's a first responder unit, so it'll have to be registered, and we'll take care of that on the fire side.
So those are two
Well,
things.
I pretty much agree, we can't really have
No.
Wayne going out with his personal vehicle if he gets in an accident. I really hadn't envisioned us, you know, having to buy another vehicle, but it looks like we really don't have a choice for liability and just all the way around.
The liability today is so much greater than it was.
Well, it's not
20 years
just the
ago.
accident, it's when you pull into a property, it's more dangerous than it used to be.
You're
So
right.
being in an
You're parking
unmarked
on-
vehicle,
In a vehicle that's not ours,
yes.
I know, I get it. So, I think we should. We don't have a choice.
There's probably no way to share the,
Share it, I don't
I
know.
don't think, cause the timing of inspections, I'm thinking the one we just bought, we
Oh,
probably
that's a
couldn't
run
split that
They're all at the same.
same time. So do we put 50 in there and then we go
Well,
back to the numbers, or do we
You'd
just
be
leave it blank?
47 plus 4, yeah, we'd have to put about 52 or 53,000 in there for the vehicle line item, we want to do both.
Let's plug in 53 and we can always refine that number.
So these vehicles are capital, you know, we have money, the building department has about 140 or 50,000 into
Set
it.
aside.
That's how you pay for the, it's not gonna be, you know, so the building department budget, when you put these numbers in there, is gonna show the ready this year, but it's, you're doing capital, you're not gonna have that.
You're pulling out of your building permit fund balance.
Right, I mean, pull out of the fund balance, but that's what the fund balance is there for, when we do capital. It's just with zero-based budgeting, that's how it comes out when you start from scratch every year. So really, those are the two, I wanted to get through the employees, I wanted to get through the building department. I do have a couple things on the agenda other than the budget. Does anybody got any more questions on the budget? We're gonna have another budget meeting to pick up the rest of the, we'll have fire, we'll have sewer.
Like I said, I can get you guys a clean copy with all these edits from today before the next meeting.
The fire's coming a day to Al Bryan or what?
Yeah, no, we've looked at it at the fire board, we did a draft on it, well, you know, we're probably gonna adopt that in February, I think. It's,
Yeah, I don't see why we would.
well, yeah, it was, we went through that earlier this month. that, does anybody got any questions on the budget? Kinda since we got a goofy going into the Metro Act, does anybody got any public comment on the budget? Or just budget questions? Yes.
Okay, I appreciate you being here, I guess, to give you the situation, so.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go back to though the 20%. I don't know if I quite caught all that, or if I quite don't understand it. And I think you said that as far as the pension plan, it's been around forever,
Yeah.
for years. At a 20%?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, that
That's a
seems
state-
high.
Well, that's a state law, I mean, it's a state option at 20%, it doesn't say you can do 18 or 15 or 10. If they opted in on that, it's 20%.
So who opts in?
Back in the 60s, I don't know.
The group or the township?
The board, the township board.
Township board, okay, because what it is that in looking at last year, looking at those minutes, and then when approval was done for that, I don't know if there was an ordinance amendment or something like that. So when that 20%, and I'm gonna pick on you guys, it applies to those three positions.
It's the
And-
five, it's all five.
All five.
Oh, well, okay, then everybody votes yes on it, and actually, Tom, I don't think you were here, maybe I'm getting the minutes mixed up a little bit.
No, I wasn't here on the actual vote, but I
Okay.
was there, the rough draft, I had gone,
Okay,
votes, but go ahead.
okay, well, it kinda, in my mind, now just learning about all of this, it kinda sets up like a red flag, like, whoa, okay, everybody approved it, which seems to be a kind of a high percentage, so, I was just wanting to get clarification for that. I am not in any way saying nobody is not working hard, that they are not doing their
I
job,
get it.
so.
Any other public comment?
I was just confused looking at the budget between what was Garrett, what was you. That was confusing to me when I looked at the sheet.
That changed last year, where we put them in the budget changed, which is
Okay.
why it looks different last year than this year. So for example, last year, Garrett was in the township assistant section, and now he's in the assessing section. And
Okay.
last year, Denny's was split between supervisor and assessor, and his entire package moved into the supervisor line item as of this.
Is there any
past
way to
year.
just tag those somehow?
I mean,
just-
not without changing our own accounting,
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna label.
Or can you
Danny or
make,
Garrett,
you know,
what I mean?
when you
So
talk
that's
about
why-
this, could you just lay it out
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
somehow,
why.
so we know, like, this is all of what Denny has and this is all of what,
So Denny's is all, for going forward, like his last year, we had to correct where we plugged things in. Going forward, Garrett's is in the assessing and Denny's is in the supervisors,
okay, so nobody's split up anywhere now.
not anymore. And that's the
Okay.
correction that was made last year. That's why it looks so dramatically different from
Yeah.
previous years, because we corrected it to consolidate essentially. So, but this current year we're in, and then going forward, they're each in their own category and there's no more splits.
And
Does that
then,
make sense?
and then I just have one other question about roles. You seem to know you seem to know all of the details of finance stuff, and you're the clerk. Is that normal?
Yeah.
Okay.
They work.
I think money, I think treasurer, and
Yeah.
They have to balance between themselves.
Yeah, so our offices
and
are a
with the
check and
county.
balance of each other. So, for example, I am responsible for, payroll and the accounts payable, and Connie signs off on those checks. So we're a check and balance of each other. So when it comes to the budget, even though statutorily, that falls under the supervisor, because I'm in it all day, every day paying bills, I'm just really familiar with what we're gonna be spending.
Okay.
So that's why I help out when it comes to budget
She
time.
pays the money, she collects the money.
She collects.
So all the, when
And
you
they
come in
have
to
to-
pay, it's gonna go to Connie. If you come.
And they have to balance with the
it goes
county.
to you, and then we gotta-
County also.
And they have to balance back and forth, that's the check and balance of it.
So when we come to budget time, typically Connie kind of takes the lead with revenues because she's familiar with it, and then I'm more familiar with the expenses.
And then in terms of compensation, Connie's is much lower than yours, isn't it? Did I read that right?
Well, there's statutory duties and extra duties. So
Okay.
the statutory duties, hers would probably be lower, but with the building department stuff, I think it's.
Okay, and is that together on here then?
No,
And
Connie's
so hers is still separated
Hers is
somehow.
split because two different funds are paying for it, so
Okay.
building department, you can only use that money to pay for building expenses, so for her role as building secretary, we can't pay that out of the treasurer, we have to pay that out of the building fund, so hers has to be separate just by the
Okay.
nature of, I believe it's an enterprise fund, right, is the building fund? And that you have to use that money for those expenses, so her building comes out of building, her treasurer comes out of treasurer.
Okay.
That's a
Yeah.
good question,
So,
Mike.
But, right, it's a great example of how our staff has taken on so many extra roles. How complicated our budget gets is a testimony to so many people taking on extra roles that we, you know, instead of having two people, Connie takes on two jobs, and so that's why we're in this.
That's one thing we learned with Cindy Dodge, and when we had the, you know, the study on the township, what everybody does in it, we learned a lot about what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. It was really helpful.
How to make it as clean as possible.
Yeah.
Is that a strategic planning thing from Cindy Dodge? Is
Yeah.
that online?
I don't know.
No, but you can request it and I can
Okay.
get it to you.
Okay, I was just curious, and going back to the, didn't she, like a year ago when this happened, didn't she suggest that you guys update your website? I know this is, and it's been a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one more thing, Karen recommended, when you look at the calendar, it looks like there's nothing on it, cause you wiped it, now you're not using it.
Now there's no calendar.
I know, but the calendar's still there, isn't it?
Nope.
No,
Okay.
get rid of
Calendar,
it.
if you find a
Okay.
calendar, send me the link.
Okay.
Calendar should be
Well, I
completely
haven't
gone
looked in a couple days, but
Yeah.
I just saw that, like, it looks like there's nothing going on. And it would be nice on that front page, Garrett, of the website, to say, hey, heads up, this meeting's here. I mean, that would be so easy. And one more thing, there's no reason why the meetings can't be Zoomed, you guys. We went to the city meeting and it was lovely. It was, our family could attend from Virginia and they could be a part of it. There's seniors that couldn't make it here tonight or today because of the weather. Moms at home that wanna be a part of it can't because they're home with their children. I mean, it would just, I think it's something that you guys really need, transparency, put it in place. So people can stay home and be able to be a part of and see what's going on.
So we can't Zoom,
We can't Zoom,
the board members can't Zoom, we can't like be in Florida and Zoom in.
right, but we could Zoom it to the
But
public.
it could be open to the public if.
And that would be
wishes
so
to do that.
nice.
It's something to look into.
And to reflect on your question, Tom, I had to learn that too, how these two work together in different MTA conferences we've been at. I've attended some clerk and treasurer just so I could understand what their duties are, how they work together, so. And then Cindy reaffirmed a lot of that with her, survey or, lacking the word, her, when she came in and did her,
Report.
proposals.
Proposal, yeah.
So yeah, great question, because I had to understand.
I also do a lot more than the average clerk, so if
Yeah,
you're seeing me in different
they
roles,
both
that's
do.
part of it.
They both do, so.
Only drawback to it is, I don't know if I've been to a meeting where the public tried to come in, that they didn't have a problem, it was muted, you couldn't hear them. But I think we could Zoom it so everybody could at least watch the meeting.
We
Or
can do
video.
that,
That could
we
probably-
can,
Other
Zoom, we
than
have to
that,
be in
But
attendance.
when you get all these people trying to come in and talk and stuff, it never worked at any of the meetings, and I went to a lot of Zoom meetings.
Well, Joe, the city of Petoskey, I'm here to tell you that
They do great.
it was so state of the art that they said on
Yeah.
public comment, raise your hand, and someone clicked a keyboard button. And I'm not joking, it would light up. It was a screen as big as that. I was like dumbfounded when I saw
I'll
it.
have to go to their meeting.
We need that. We're bigger than the city of Petoskey. Population wise, we should have that. I just think it would be,
Good comment.
I bet
Yes,
Garrett
people-
could manage
people
it.
loved it, comment. I wish all of you could at least take time to see what the city has, cause it was impressive.
And I sat through a couple during the 2020 thing, and a lot of them worked good, and some not so good, but it
But
was
with
a
the
good,
new-
it was a good
We
thing, but
learned,
we
we
couldn't.
learned a lot during
We
that
did,
time
yeah,
too,
we
about how to
did.
even use Zoom.
And we can't, like
Yeah,
Donnie
well,
said,
Zoom
because
was.
unless you're military or deployed or something, we can as a elected official.
They had
Choose to
an
stay home.
administrator or someone that wasn't a part of the board run the Zoom portion of it.
Garrett, you could run it, couldn't you? Because you're not technically on the board. Could you run the Zoom?
Yes, and he's not saying running the Zoom, as an elected
What?
official, they
Right.
cannot Zoom
Right.
in.
We
Right.
can't
Oh,
stay
oh,
home.
okay.
We can't.
Oh, no,
That's
I
what
meant- I
So
meant
unless
for
I
the
was
citizens.
employed,
Yeah,
For the
for the
public, yeah.
we have to be in attendance.
Oh,
or-
for sure.
It's just, it's more effective if somebody is managing it and they can mute everyone so, until somebody raises their hand, and
Yeah.
We'd have
then you
to-
don't have
And
those
that's
other
how they did it
problems.
At the city, that Lisa
You know-
was running it.
Yep.
And that's not even, you just hear Emmett County really needs to get on board with it too, so.
Absolutely.
So we did look at that when we put this system together. and
Sure.
This wasn't working well, but with the new hall and the meetings, it's just like the audio system.
Yeah.
What we have now
Alright, thank you.
is just kind of put together to
I
make
got
it
one
work
half hour.
for as cheap as possible to get us through a certain amount of time. To make this room sufficient to make sure you guys can see things, to make sure it's zooming, and it can be picking up on all the board members, like their microphones. It doesn't go to the Zoom, it just goes to the speakers. That stuff doesn't talk to each other. So it'd be very expensive to retrofit this building.
Right, but moving forward,
Yeah.
April first, to the new
Absolutely.
facility.
I mean, I'm open, let's figure it out.
I don't see why we couldn't Zoom it, you know, at least the public could see the meeting.
It would be nice.
Yeah, work through some.
Alright, let's, I just got a call, I gotta go to the hospital very soon, so,
Okay.
Metro Act application, so you got the map up there.
Yep.
So Metro Act is utilities, video utilities that are in the road right of ways. They have to get a permit from the township or from the local unit of government, city, village, or township.
You make money on that, right?
And we make money on that, yep, they pay every year, we have to pay them, I think
It's
we're
in the
about
budget.
$13,000 or $14,000 a year. This company here, they wanna kinda hit that East Bayview area. I think they also intend to hit Bayview. So this Metro Act is only for public road right of ways, that's all we control. They'll be working with the Bayview Association, those are all private roads in there, so that part won't come through there. Kinda see, they're gonna go up the highway, hit that East Bayview area, and then continue on up the highway, both 31 and 119 Bear Creek. Heading up to, I don't know where they're going after Bear Creek, that's what this is. I had the attorney look it all over, it appears to be in, the correct form, and this is called a unilateral. We typically, this is probably our fifth or sixth one. There's a bilateral, application, there's a unilateral. Bilateral is for 15 years with 3 5-year extensions. The unilateral is a 5-year, a 5-year term with 3 5-year, extensions. We've done the 5-year in case there's problems or something, you know, we can address them quicker than waiting 15 years. So this is the unilateral. They originally applied for bilateral, or told them, you know, all our other ones are unilateral. They just redid the form. That's kind of the area that this company is going for, and, make a motion, we have 45 days, the reason we're bringing this up today is because I got this in December, but we didn't get the check in time, we got it for the January meeting, so, anyway, if we wait till February 4th or a week from today, it's like right on the 44th or 50th anyway. If you don't do nothing, then it's, automatically approved.
One thing I didn't, are they using underground or existing poles? I didn't quite figure that one out.
I don't know if
They could be jumping up and down.
Yeah.
What's that?
They can go, typically these have been underground, but they can use the pole, they can go up the pole.
I know.
They have to get right away from.
From the,
utilities.
yeah, from the utility.
That's all city of Petoskey and consumers in that area.
I know consumers, that's all consumers.
Well, Bayview is Petoskey, but,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, it could be up or down, because it's just to be right away.
Do you need a motion for approval?
Yeah.
So moved.
I always get leery of above ground because they don't keep their, but if they're on Great Lakes and our consumers, they trim the lines, so.
Yeah, so these are not new lines, these will be an existing poles
Existing.
going in underground. Yeah, it's not like we dealt with out your way, out of, where they were putting up new poles and stuff. Made a motion by Emma to approve the Metro Act.
Support.
Supported by Tom. Any discussion? Here none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? And then there's a posting and stuff that we have to do. Joel usually takes care of that. Let them know that we approve this. Next is building inspector review. I'd like to talk to the two building inspectors one at a time. If you guys want, you can go into the closed session, or you can do it in the open, however how you guys feel about it.
I'd like to request a closed session, please.
So he wanted to go into closed session. I think in this case, it'd be easier for just the 5 board members and Brian to go into one of the other rooms and to move everybody out. And then we take this room. I think if we could do that. So, and then you'll have to take minutes in the closed session. So I'll move that the township board go into closed session to consider a periodic personnel evaluation of a staff member as the individual has requested a closed hearing pursuant to MCL 15.268-1A.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? You need to call the roll to go into closed session.
You can call it, we're still in open, so you
Yeah,
can
it's
call
still
it.
open now.
This part's always, the transition's kind of funny, but we're still in open session, so you can call this one.
Roll, Golden.
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Erman,
Yes.
Radovich.
Yes.
Motion passes, Mr. Supervisor.
Okay, we're just gonna go on the others. You guys can just hang out. I don't think this will take too long. Deputy Building Inspector, Stan, do the same. If you want, you can go into closed session, or we can do it here.
I'd like to go to closed session.
Okay. So I'll make a motion. I move that the township board, I guess you can invite anybody in closed session. Brian is more of your direct boss, so if you want to invite Brian in.
Correct.
I move the township board go into closed session to consider a periodic personnel evaluation of the staff member as the individual has requested a closed hearing pursuant to MCL 15.268, 1A.
Support.
Moved and supported, and that he would request that Brian come with him, or to go into closed session also. With that, any discussion? Call the roll.
Goldie,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Erman,
Yes.
Radovich.
Yes.
Mr. Supervisor, motion passes.
Okay. We'll be right back.
Make that motion.
Moved by Joe, supported by Emma. Any discussion? Here, none, call the roll, please.
Kaiser.
Oh,
Eyes for me. Whitcomb.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Golding. Yes for me, and Urban.
Yes.
And it's 2:27.
All right, back into the open session. Thanks for hanging in there with us, guys. Is there any last public comment? I kind of gave you one earlier. Hopefully we got our questions asked. Thank you. The only other business, just want the board to know we're gonna put that flyer in. We talked about it last board meeting, but we gotta turn everything into the county, I think Tuesday, right, the February 4th.
Yeah, it's coming fast. I just wanted to throw this in here since we ended up having this meeting.
This is fluid, so we can change this just to May 1 if things don't get accomplished.
No,
Well, then I'm thinking we should go May 1. I mean, we're only,
Yeah, we're pretty close.
no, we're not really close.
No, I said we're pretty close in time,
On time,
Yeah.
yeah.
in a bad way.
Tell them we got a May election.
Yeah,
Gotta get rolling.
I know.
Can you tell me what we're talking about? I couldn't hear.
So the assessment note, at the last meeting, we talked about the assessment notice, putting a flyer in with the assessment notices, notifying people of when we would start having meetings at the new hall.
Okay.
And so we're trying to decide, do we make it April 1st or May 1st, cause obviously construction,
Oh, the
anything
flyer.
can happen. So this flyer has to get to the county in time to be printed, so that's. what
I
we're
gotta have it in
trying
the
to
county by Tuesday.
I guess I'm for May first.
I can May first.
I would just,
Yeah, that's
better
better.
safe than sorry.
Safe.
Safe than sorry.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't know if all of a sudden it was, the building wasn't ready, could we say, oh, we're gonna move it
No.
once it's.
After
don't think you
Tuesday,
can.
it goes and.
But what if,
If you put it
what
out,
if there was a leaky roof, and we couldn't do it here?
Yeah, I mean, I
But
don't know.
let's just go May one.
Yeah, let's, I think,
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
okay, let's change.
It's up to the rest of you.
No, that's a good point, because, a month ago, April seemed,
It did.
it seemed good, you know, so, let's
We got
do May
some-
first.
Got some items to
Yeah.
address.
Okay, change that to May, but brought that back up. Garrett, was there one other thing you need to talk about?
Not that I have.
You were gonna say so.
Oh, yeah, did you want to say?
Oh,
something?
that's.
oh,
Oh, okay. Is any other business for the board? Here none, we'll be adjourned. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging in there.
Drive
Drive
safe.
careful.